Thursday, August the 20th, 2020. Once again I'm back in Marston Moretaine and about to undertake a Marston Vale walk, about 11 miles, which is known as the Cranfield Circular on the North Herts Ramblers group website, from whence this walk came again. But I'm starting in Marston Moretaine and hoping to take my lunch in Cranfield. As I say, 11 miles, it's about 1 o'clock now, quite a late start. Decent day, a bit breezy as you can see, but after the rain we've had recently, this is very good indeed. So let's get cracking, see what awaits. So there you have him. I thought he was now known as an honorary title of Colonel, but there you go, still captain here. So having crossed a village green, now join cycleway 51, which now runs alongside a new housing estate. As I mentioned last time I was up here, plenty of new builds in central Bedfordshire. More building on my left, which has probably been, well, clearly happened since the GPS was done. Now walking alongside the busy M1 on my right. Got that wrong, it's the A421, and these houses are being built by David Wilson. So here we are, the A421, with my road crossing ahead of us there. That bridleway there will take us back later on, so there's no duplication. That's the route I've just taken. Here's the onward journey. What a wonderful flower on this motorway verge. I haven't seen that before, don't know if it's native. About 1 metre high. Continue walking up this side road to the busy A421. Walking away from it now, thankfully. There's no footpath signed here, either on the ground or on the map, but this would appear to be the onward journey per the GPX. Strange little industrial area there, in a place called Wood End, and I'm now headed towards the wood. Now entering the woodland of Marston Thrift SSI, and there's the elusive bullfinch. Lovely bird that is. Seldom see it though these days. Very sad. This is the woodland, nice mixed woodland. Once again a perfect habitat for lizards. None to be seen. At this juncture, as you reach another notice board, do a left here. Lovely walk this. SSI and woodland. Very pleasant shady glades. As you can hear, all you can hear actually, is the breeze through the leaves. Very little bird song. In fact, I haven't heard any yet. Temperature today is in about the low 70s. So nothing too arduous. So later on we'll be taking that route back to Marston Moretaine. Meantime we're continuing on to Cranfield, which is a mile hence, according to that sign there. Up this way. Having just come out of the woods there. Now entering the area known as Rectory Wood, all part of the forest of Marston Vale that's being developed. Onward journeys that way. This forest is certainly going to be something to see in the future, that's for sure. Wonderful. Continuing to follow a quiet access road. It's a lane really, not a road. Then blow me what turns up. A horse wagon. Passing Cranfield Cemetery there, which could be a good spot for lunch. Although I'm still aiming for the church. Interesting that they're separate, possibly. So the onward journey, I do believe, will be down that road. But I'm deviating slightly here to go to the church. Village Hall is opposite. And I'm now in the churchyard of St Peter and St Paul, Cranfield, which does in fact have a very large cemetery. So I don't know what the other cemetery is for. Probably an extension of this one. Only the one seat seen so far, and that's in the sun, so not ideal. There's also a notice at the entrance here indicating that you now need to wear a mask, face mask, to go in the church, which I wasn't aware of, so I don't have one, so I can't film the interior. Left it in the car. And of course, as is usually the way, you've got the village school opposite. C of E church. Clock is accurate as well, coming up to 2:30. Difficult to get a full-on shot of this church, unfortunately. And there aren't any other seats, amazingly. But I have spied a couple on a piece of grass opposite, so I might go and try them. This is the only way I can get the church fully in, and I've got the sun against me. Well, there's one here on the village green that's in the shade, just outside the school. That'll do. 3 o'clock, lunch has been had. No dedication on the bench this week, because there isn't one there to make. Anyway, only just over 3 miles into the walk, leaving 8 for the remainder of the afternoon. So once again, poorly balanced from my perspective, but that's the way it has to be because of the timings and the church situation. So let's press on. One parting shot of St Peter and St Paul. Shame I can't get in it, but there you go. Sign of the times. Yeah, there weren't any face masks in the storm porch either, so definitely can't go in. Cranfield is famous for its business school, and it has a little light airport, which is why there's a fair few light planes buzzing around in the background. There's a footpath over a stile there, which is unusual for this area in itself, but that would cut off a good chunk of this afternoon section if you're so inclined. I'm now following this quiet lane, which is actually the John Bunyan Trail once again. Cranfield marks the high point of today's walk, at around 385 feet, low point being 1, 2, 3. And here you can see a decent view across the vale. Towers of Stewartby over there in the distance. Very nice building here. It's got the appearance of a school, but it's got a board outside saying High Ridge Farm. One thing's for sure, it's got a cracking view. And in the very far distance, once again, we get a shot of Cardington, the hangars there, from a different angle to before. I've filmed it on several occasions now, all from different positions. It's a pretty good view from here, actually. Lots of development going on though, as you can see. So another view from a point near Wood Farm on the map, and it's quite amazing to think actually that in a few years, from what I can see down there with all the saplings planted, that it's going to be forest. So this view will be very different. So what I'm capturing now for posterity isn't really posterity. It's just for the next few years really. There's another light plane going into Cranfield. Once we get past this farm, I do believe it's a slow descent. So we're definitely approaching that 385 foot mark. Got a couple of options here. The one to the left towards the vale is the one that we don't take. Onward journey straight ahead through this gate here. So as you can see, John Bunyan Trail. That's Cranfield Airfield over there. Walking across a very large former rape field, which would be a trudge if it was ploughed up again. The field does have a very nice field boundary, mind you, and that's a former rape field, hasn't been touched for a few years by the look of it. Nice bit of handiwork there indicating your onward direction from the far side of the field, clearly visible. Barry Ingram and his Ripple team, no doubt, at work there. Likewise with these gates. Another lovely section of walking here next to Holcott Wood on the map. Lots of wildflowers still about, but remarkably quiet. A new bench has been installed here with a dedication to follow by the looks of it. So new is it. Interesting position, mind you. So there's a track ahead where it says cattle grazing. According to the GPX file, that's not the one we take. There is then a bridleway indicated by that marker there that goes into the wood, and I do believe that's the path that we now take. So that woodland where the cattle are is Reynolds Wood, managed by the Woodland Trust. So as we come out of the woodland, we're going to get a good view across the vale again in a minute. Wonderful afternoon now. First time I've seen one of those on a walk. Usually associate them with roads, but just shows that we're, as I said earlier, on the high ground on this walk and now descending. High point of 385 is behind us now. They've even made use of a former pit there, and as usual you've got some idiots making use of it. They underestimate the power of these lakes, the depth of them, and the coldness of the water. Yeah, that's going to be one forest, isn't it? Interesting how the lake forms into that. Perhaps it doesn't. Perhaps the trees growing around the edge of this lake are lower shrub type things. So interestingly, I'm still on cycle route 51, CNC 51, 3 mile to Marston Moretaine, although it's actually longer the way we're doing it, and 5 to Milton Keynes. So it gives you some idea of where I am in the country. Very pleasant walking in this cool, tree-lined, soft underfoot avenue. Pleasant aroma as well. So there's the farmhouse that I passed earlier, Home Farm, or was it Wood Farm? It was actually Wood End Farm. So we're now below it. You can see the height we were at. So this land feature here on my right has got all the hallmarks of being a former rubbish dump. I've seen the gas emission valves lying around, so this is excellent use, if that is the case, of a former rubbish dump, probably for Milton Keynes. So this is the junction I was at earlier when I said that we'd be joining this junction later and going back into woodland here. So we're now at it. So as we continue through this lovely shady woodland, as you can hear in the background there, warning note of a wren. And I think that's all I've heard today. Warning notes of wrens and robins, plus that noise, which I haven't worked out what it is yet, but I'm still of the opinion it might be a nuthatch. Nuthatch warning note. There it goes. I have to check that, I still haven't checked it out. And this explains why I've seen more people in the last 5 minutes than I have all day. A car park, which isn't shown on the map. So as we leave the wonderful Marston thrift, no bullfinches seen. So as I say, this little car park must be quite new. Probably wasn't there when the GPX was made. Anyway, at this juncture we leave the 51, which goes off left to Marston, and instead take this right turn. See these gas release cylinders will tell me that this used to be a rubbish dump of some kind. They have to release the gases. There's one over near where I live. Decent view beyond the A421 there. The old brickyards there. Wind's picking up ahead of tomorrow's pretty strong winds, so I hear. So I've been pretty lucky today. Onward journey's left here, down past this wheat field, which has been partially cut, obviously stopped by the rain over the last few days. So now walking alongside the busy A421 again. It's now rush hour pretty much. So there you go, classic examples. Washing machine and a fridge freezer. Looks like there's plenty of scope for expansion here on this road. Obviously being close to Milton Keynes, it may be needed. So as mentioned earlier, that's the way I came. And here's the onward journey on this bridleway. Wind is definitely picking up. Nature's fruit larder down this path. Sloes, elders, rose hips. I'm now following a former railway line, as is clearly obvious, but which one it is I do not know. And it's not marked on the map as a public access either. The Marston Vale path, which we join up with shortly, comes through that little wood over there. In fact, it's a copse, and that's the way I walked a few weeks ago. And this field of, I think it was wheat, was still up then. So there you go, time marches on. So there is the Marston Vale country path, or the Marston Vale path, sorry. I was actually getting my words mixed up with this Millennium Vale Country Park over there, where the wind turbine is. Because that's where this walk officially starts. So that probably adds on about another mile. And because I started at the church here in Marston, because the parking's cheaper. In fact, I can't remember what you have to pay, but I did film the costs at the country park the other week. So that's why I've started here today. Don't think I mentioned that at the beginning. So back at St Mary's, with its unusual separate tower. Apparently the only one in the area, other one in the area, is at Elstow in Beds. Very unusual. And I can hear the young swifts are still up there, haven't departed yet. Right, let's conclude the walk where I started, which is only 9.6 miles later, so a bit shorter than I thought, and 3 hours 36. So a very nice walk that. Lots of variety as usual in this area. Very pleasant weather. Not much else to report though really in terms of sightings. Towards the end there though, I definitely saw what I believe to be was a honey buzzard. It was definitely a buzzard, and it wasn't an ordinary scruffy communal buzzard that we normally see. So I'm going to check that when I get back as well, because I've got the markings under the wings imprinted on my brain at the moment. But I couldn't get it on camera, just too high up, and you know, you just can't focus on those things with this. Anyway, so apart from that, not much else to report today. Very good walk, no problems underfoot really. one large field crossing, the old rape field, which could be an issue when ploughed back again. Aside from that, very decent walk. Till the next time.